Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to the latest episode of our entertainment show. As you know, in part three of our entertainment show, each week we run a special series called Into the Vault, where we look back at iconic movies and TV series throughout the decade, whether it's a classic 60s or 70s cowboy and Indians movie, whether it's an 80s Western, whether it's 80s detective sort of TV show, maybe it's a 90s horror movie, maybe it's a 21st century romantic sort of story in terms of a love interest. You name the genre, you name the decade, we look into it and our special Into the Vault. And this week we're going back roughly 10 years now, maybe a bit more than 10 years, 13 years to be in fact, 2010. And we're looking at a comedy sort of movie, a satire sort of comedy movie, reminiscent of the sort of A-team as such, in terms of a group of renegade sort of soldiers that, dare I say, that are not wanted by the authorities that commissioned them in the first place. It's called Losers. It stars an all-star cast, including Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Zoe Saldana, Chris Evans, Idris Elba, Jason Patric, or Holt McCallard, and our special guest this evening, the one and only Columbus Short, who plays the role of Pooch in Losers. And Columbus, for people that haven't seen Losers, for our audience and listeners that might be interested and mightn't have seen it for the first time, can you give us a quick synopsis about the movie in terms of what is it entailed? Is it that sort of comedy sort of a twist, or is there a serious plot running through?
You kind of nailed it. I mean, there's comedy in it, but it's it also, it's an action, classic action, and you nailed it with the A-Team. It's funny enough, we were competing against the A-Team and the Expendables at that time. Those are the three movies that were coming out at the same kind of around the same time. So the movie's about these black ops soldiers that they wage a war against the CIA after the CIA left them for dead in Bolivia. It's action packed. We shot in Puerto Rico for 3 months, which we had a ball, all of us. We were such a close-knit family out there. Me, Chris Evans, Idris, Zoe, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We were really tight. So that's the movie in a nutshell. There's a couple of plot twists in there, of course, but that's the movie.
And Columbus, can you tell us about your character Pooch in terms of his role? What type of expert is he within this special elite forces type of team?
He's Pooch is heavy weapons and transpo. So he deals with the heavy weapons, and he deals with every he can drive anything.
Yeah. So a bit of grenade launchers are they thrown in there, AKs?
Oh yeah. Machine guns? Yep. He actually, Pooch made a like MacGyver. It's a funny line in the movie. I ad-libbed that line actually. I'm the Black MacGyver. Yeah, he made his own rocket launcher. Yeah, it's super cool.
And you mentioned there about the sort of weapons that you were able to use within the movie. Had you special sort of weapons sort of training, or was it done by stunt doubles?
Yes.
Or were you able to show how to use the certain machinery?
Well, we did a month of SEAL training with Harry Humphreys, who trained the SEAL Team 6 to go get Osama. Same guy. He trained us. So we it's funny as an actor, you look back and you look back and you're like, oh my God, I can do all this stuff that for real because I got trained. So yeah, we had to go through thorough weapons training, tactical training, entry, teamwork. I mean, like we were moving like SEALs.
And did they push you during that training? Was there a level of stamina and fitness required to it?
Yeah, it was not no Hollywood fluff training. Harry Humphreys was not. He treated us like we were real SEAls. Put us in the water. I mean, from all kind of stuff. I can't even say all of it. It's just we got really trained.
Yeah. And Columbus, in terms of landing this role for Pooch, was it a long audition process? Was your talent agent recommended for the role, or how did it come about?
I just got an offer. So I did a movie called Stomp the Yard. The director of Stomp the Yard, he was the director of the movie. And serendipitously enough, I did a movie called Whiteout with Kate Beckinsale. But I was working for Joel Silver, he's a big time producer, Lethal Weapons,
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. So Joel hired Sylvan White, and then Joel was like, I want Columbus, because we already built a report on Whiteout. So I just got a call, and I heard who was playing. I was actually doing a movie called Death at a Funeral at the time with Zoe Saldana. She was playing my sister, and we both got the call at the same time. We were on set on another movie, and I was like, I just got an offer on a movie. She's like, really, what? And I'm like, The Loser. She's like, oh my God, I just got an offer for that too. I was like, we're going to Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Do you take the same flight?
Yep.
Yeah, same flight down to Puerto Rico. And what was the shooting like that in terms of the schedule? You mentioned there about 3 months. So obviously in terms of Navy SEAL training, in terms of the shooting of the film as well. So it probably was a long production. Was it up to maybe 4 to 5 months in terms of the shooting for that sort of?
But by the time we left, we had been in Puerto Rico 4.5 months. Yeah.
4.5 months. Wow. And in terms of learning about your role at Pooch, what did they say in terms of what the character was going to be about, and what sort of take did you say that you wanted to bring to the role yourself? What sort of angle or twist did you want to put on the character?
Well, the Dougals, the creators of the actual graphic novel, they gave me a lot of creative liberties, right? They were like, bring him to life. Do you, Columbus, bring him to life. And so, and part of me bringing Pooch to life was me and Chris Evans' relationship and developing that banter. Pooch is crazy. He's risky, but the thing in the movie, Pooch, he can't be as risky, as wild, reckless abandon as he usually is, because he finds out his wife is pregnant. And he just wants to go home. He just wants to get home. So that becomes like Pooch's underlining thing. But when it comes down to being with his men, it's no man left behind. We're going in. We're gonna do this together.
And Columbus, in terms of the reaction of The Losers, it went down well. You mentioned there are some of its rivals, and obviously the A-Team movie sort of flopped sort of big time in terms of what it was expected of that. So in terms of Losers, it sort of caught on because you had sort of good sort of camaraderie. There was sort of good sort of take to it, and it was a new thing. You weren't reinventing a classic there, I say. You had a whole new concept, a whole new sort of script. And through the years gone by, people are looking onto it, watching it again for the first time, and they still can sort of relate to it in terms of that. So it wasn't,
and I love that.
You had no big shoes to fill in terms of your rivals who had massive shoes to fill there, I say.
Right. And it's crazy because, like I was telling you, A-Team came out before us, which we were like, oh Lord, here we go. And then Expendables came out, and and then we came out, and we didn't do that well in the box office. But what I've found over the years, it's become like this cult classic action film, which is picking up steam. As a matter of fact, we're even talking about trying to do another one.
It's amazing in terms of these sort of movies that can go under the radar in terms of its first sort of year of release, and then as time goes by, as people sort of discover it outside the initial cinema, it grows. I mean, I was just talking to Elijah Kubert, who the other weekend did House of Wax, a classic sort of horror movie, same sort of scenario. Then in the first sort of year as well, probably went a bit under the radar in terms of that. But as time goes on, the following sort of grows for the movie, and people are watching it for the first time now are sort of saying to themselves, yeah, how did I miss that, or how did that pass me by in terms of that year?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure on how wide out we released. I know it was full domestic, and movies get sold to certain territories. So I'm certain when we first dropped, it didn't drop in Ireland. It had to get there. And as it had to get to Africa and certain places in Spain and China and Australia, and, islands, it had to grow. And it's been amazing to find that it found its audience. I remember when we went to Comic-Con before the movie came out, and people were super excited about it. It just, I think due to marketing, and it was at that time, it was flooded with, like I just said, it's A-Team, Expendables, and us. It's like, people were, spread thin on that particular genre. But I'm glad that The Losers has legs. I knew it was going to have legs because wonderful actors are in it. And especially at this time, Zoe had just finished Avatar. It hadn't come out yet. Chris Evans didn't get Captain America until after. A few months after that, they offered him Captain America. Idris was not, after that movie, everybody just blew up. So I think because of the fans of Idris, of Jeffrey G. Morgan, of Chris Evans, of Zoe, they're now coming, they're finding their old work. And they're like, whoa, what happened? This movie's dope. And all of these guys are together. Like, it's kind of cool to look back nostalgically and see how everybody's career has panned out since then.
And Columbus, those caricatures on the background there in terms of the characters. Before we came on air, you said you had an interesting story to tell us about that in terms of
yes.
pipeline. You might enlighten us.
Yeah, so I started a company called Orca United Society. It's a tech company. We're the first multimedia entertainment, blockchain entertainment company. So what that means is these are NFTs, which people can own. If you go to orcaunited.io, all the information is there. So in these images, they're loaded with smart contracts. So in these images, if you purchase one of these, you would have access to my master classes, my acting master classes, my dance master classes, any events that we're doing as a company, access to all of it. My music, our music department. So we have Orca United Records, we have Orca United Studios. We're going to be making a lot of movies, and we're giving our holders of these first access to any movies that, any music, any television series. We're giving our holders first access before it goes to a streamer or to a network. And we just build in the community of Orcanians, and I'm excited about it because we're going to start our Orca United Arts Academy, which is going to be the first international art school. So we're going to have departments: music department, dance department, production and design, music engineering, visual arts, ballet, and we're going to be teaching international with a roster of amazing teachers in every department. So we're just building. It's happening right now. Like I said, tell your listeners or anyone seeing this, go to orcaunited.io and all the information's there. Just take a deep dive.
Wow, exciting times ahead, Columbus Short. And Columbus, before we came on air, you mentioned that you came to Ireland maybe once or twice in the past, and you graced the street of Dublin. How did you find your experience?
Well, first of all, it started with the flight. All of the ladies with the green, the flight attendants with the green on Aer Lingus. It was great. Such wonderful service on the flight. And then when I got there, it was just awesome. I walked a lot, and the cobbled streets, beautiful architecture, and the pubs, the food, and you know what? The real thing was the people. Ireland, you guys are wonderful. The Irish are wonderful, welcoming people, and can drink.
On that note, Columbus Short, for the final 30 seconds, I might come back to you now. And in terms of Into the Vault, in terms of Losers, you might enlighten all our audience, all our listeners, for the final 30 seconds. If they haven't seen Losers before and they want to see a quality, entertaining movie, what's in store for them, Columbus Short? Why should they watch Losers?
Well, you got action, you got guns, you got Zoe Saldana, you got Chris Evans, you got Idris Elba, you got Jeffrey D. Morgan, and you got the one and only Columbus Short, and we blow shit up and make it look cool. So enjoy it.
On that note, Columbus Short from me, Jim Conlan. Thanks for joining us this evening on this week's episode of Into the Vault. Looking back at the iconic movie Losers out in 2010. As I said, the audience is growing at a rapid pace, and no doubt the sequel is in the making very soon, and we'll get to see Pooch on our screens one more time. But for the moment, Columbus Short, stay safe, take care, and do check out.
Big love to Ireland.
They do check out Columbus Short projects and websites in the near future for all his talented and amazing work. Columbus, take care.
OrcaUnited.io. Go get it.